You know what? I feel like checking it out.
What in Lord Bowser's name is that? In bed? Wasn't my house destroyed?
You're the fire starter. Twisted fire starter.
Wait, you're that guy from the TV commercial. Can you explain what's going on?
Fine. I'll get the script out for this one. Alright, let's see. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Okay. You're essentially in this purgatory dimension where, although you technically died, you find out that you keep coming back to life. That also explains how you returned after the house burnt down in your Mario 3 review, and that new Super Mario Bros. Game crushing you to death. It's a strange phenomenon, which also explains how I'm here, which the ancients, from Crash Basketball games, instructed me to be your guardian angel of some sort.
This is boring. Is there a way to fast forward it?
A game called Persona 5.
Oh, he said something important. Go back.
I'll give you a hint to show you what to do.
You just want me to play that game.
Yup. Good luck.
Without further ado, Super Mario Bros. 2, The Lost Levels.
BigAnf.
Lost Levels, one of the most polarising entries in the Mario series. I think I made a brief video based on the development, so I'll show you that. The original Super Mario Bros. 2 was released in Japan in 1986, but due to its overwhelming difficulty and how it was too similar to the first Super Mario Bros., it would not get an international release until 1993. The game received favourable reviews among critics, but it was nowhere near as acclaimed and impactful compared to the first game, and for good reason. This game doesn't really give me much to talk about. Also, before I review this, I'm playing the All-Stars version, which includes better presentation and a save system, cause why not? And I also want to briefly review the Mario All-Stars too, cause why not? Now this game plays very similar to the first Super Mario game. For context reasons, here's my summary.
Super Mario Bros. Is a great game, especially for its time. Sure, many other platformers have surpassed it, but I do think that the controls are some of the best I've ever experienced.
That aged poorly. And today's game is no different. There are some changes and additions to expand on the gameplay of Mario 1, but most of them are pretty weak and don't add much substance to the game as a whole.
Hey look, it's Luigi.
Here's my brother Luigi!
The Poison Mushroom acts as the first power down in Mario games. It's nothing too special. It's essentially a reverse mushroom where instead of gaining another hit point, you either lose one or you die. Oh, and you hear that dun 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 dun. Other power-ups are exactly how they are in the first game, though the mushrooms have eyes now. And also the clouds, and the trees, and whatever these are. That's a really weird thing to hear in a Mario game. The graphics still aren't the best. Mario seems to be running on dirt this time, which makes more sense in the bricks, I suppose, but it still doesn't look very appealing to me. While I do think it looks slightly better than Mario 1, if you show me a screenshot from both games, I might just assume they're the same, since Lost Levels doesn't really change the art style to the first game, which is disappointing because Mario 1, 2, and 3 each have a distinct style from one another, but this game doesn't really add as much details as the other sequels do. If you remember my Mario 1 review, you might have realized I cut out a certain point of that summary I showed you before.
But I do think that generally, the levels are brilliantly designed.
The levels are brilliantly designed. The levels are brilliantly designed.
Yeah, the level design is not the best in this game. I'll go through some good moments, but first, the worst. I hate this spring. It sucks so much. Every time I use it, I always feel I have to control whether I get the high jump or not making it for some really cheap deaths. You gotta hit the jump button at a very specific time, and there's a 5 out of 10 chance where it actually works. This could have easily been solved if the timing had more leeway, or if you hold down the jump button. That way I can control whether I fly 100 kilometers in the sky or fall 100 kilometers below the ground. Moving on, and the wind is... It does add challenge in changing your horizontal movement at all times, which might lead to some interesting gameplay, but I don't know. It's fine. I don't know why, but the bloopers can appear anywhere in this game. They look weird and out of place outside the water levels. It just seems like arbitrary difficulty with no rhyme or reason to be there, and feels like one of those levels you create in Mario Maker where they make the levels as hard as possible just for the sake of it. They bring back the trial and error levels.
Except there's more of them.
My problem with these levels is that you waste your time trying to find the real pathway, and when you do find it, you realize you're running low on time and you have to rush, causing you to make mistakes. It's a shame because I do see the potential in these mechanics, but they either feel so half-assed, or like I said before, arbitrary difficulty. Oh yeah, and there's some instances where you literally can't see what's ahead of you. That sucks. But despite what I said, I think the level design still has some positives. I like how some platforming requires you to jump on a paratrooper or something at the right time. I also appreciate how this game encourages players to improve on their ability, as some of the platforming is super satisfying to pull off, and I remember certain moments where steering Mario's jump backwards was used as a means to get past some tricky platforming, which is something I never had to use in Mario 1. Before you'd think I'd stop comparing the two, there are still plenty of times where you're essentially running on flat ground for large portions of a level. My review of this game is significantly shorter than my other Mario reviews. It's just, this game is far too similar to the original in almost every way. My biggest problem is not because it's difficult, but because it lacks innovation from Mario 1. This game feels less like a sequel and more of an extension to Super Mario Bros., warts and all. I'll also talk about some of the other stuff I missed out on. The music is the exact same, which is great because each track is super iconic, but Mario 1 did it first, so there's not really much to compliment about this game's soundtrack. To the point where it even copy and paste the soundtrack for the title screen.
The music is so good you can't even hear it.
And the bosses are the exact same. Crap! Okay, that's a bit harsh, since some of the methods to get around Bowser are different this time, so if you watched my Mario 1 review, I don't like this quote-unquote boss for essentially being a glorified stage hazard. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels gets my disapproval. Goodbye, everybody.
That's fine. Good, now I believe you said you were also going to review...
All Stars.
Exactly.
Although I disliked the Lost Levels, the reason that kept me playing was the SNES version of the game, which comes with a little collection of remakes known as Super Mario All Stars, not to be confused with 3D All Stars that released in 2020. The reason I chose to play Lost Levels here is simply because you can save the game. On every single level. Wow. I mean, I kinda took saving for granted in my Mario World review, but saving on every level in Lost Levels is a godsend. Graphically, these games look pretty great. Nintendo managed to adapt the art style of each game into 16-bit form, and thus make me appreciate each game's art style. Well, except for Lost Levels, and that game still looks like the first Super Mario Bros. Game. I also like the attention to detail in some of the environments, like the added scenery in the background, or the fact that Mario 1 has you running on actual grass this time, compared to the bricks or the dirt, which makes the world feel more believable in a certain way. The music is enhanced, and while the dynamics of the SNES version's music doesn't hit as hard as the chiptune classics, the pieces are still well composed regardless. That being said, these games play pretty much identical to their NES counterparts, so that means the problems I have with those games, apart from the save system where, like I said before, has been fixed in this remake. If you've played the originals, don't expect these remakes to blow you away compared to, let's say, the Resident Evil 2 remake. The Resident Evil 2 remake. Don't expect these remakes to blow you away compared to, let's say, the Resident Evil 2 remake. Alright, so I'm recording after I played All Stars and the originals back to back, and I think the jumping in All Stars feels slightly off. I can't lay my finger on why, but I definitely noticed something's wrong. Though it didn't really bother me that much, so consider it a nitpick, but if you can, just let me know why this game feels off at times compared to the original NES games. Overall, I think Super Mario All-Stars is a very enjoyable collection. The Super Mario Bros. Trilogy is some of the NES's best platformers now, with better presentation to boot. It's also the first official release of Lost Levels, which, despite that kind of ruining a streak of great games, it is a welcome addition for those who want a challenge. Did you know there was a Mario World version?
Dun 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 dun, you are done.
Alright, who even remembers that song? Do you remember that song?
No.
Now that you completed my request, now I'll give you the hint.
That's it. I need Alex. Where's my phone?
Hello, this is the CEO of Vicarious Visions. How can we help?
Hey, is this Alex?
Alex, you mean the kid who died, right? I have his old phone number because I changed mine because I got sick of people asking me to make a Tony Hawk dancing game after the success of the Crash and Spyro ones. I made one anyway, but I might leave it for when we remake Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's great. Good luck with that. Alex is dead? Did I really kill him?
This is definitely voiceover. If you want to bring him back, you gotta recreate that slap scene from the Crash 90 part with you. But this time, you're the one who gets slapped.
Okay, so you straight up give me the answer after several minutes of filler. When this video's over, can you just please get rid of that scriptwriter? This script right here is garbage.
Wait a minute. That's me!
You're fired. Alright, so now the scriptwriter is gone, go ahead and recreate that scene to break the cycle.
Alright then. Thanks anyway. Tomorrow it is.
Tomorrow it is.
I need you. Do you know that scene where I slapped Alex
Yeah.
and he got sent into another world? I need you to do that to me.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what happened?
Wait, if you're not Anf, who's the real Anf?